I'm actually like feeling my look today, so yay. Hi loves! Okay, so today is Monday, so you guys know what that means. It's Mental Health Monday. So today I'm going to talk about being mentally ill and being black. So that's the topic of the day. I was inspired to talk about this topic by, he's really famous on Vine, and he's having a short movie coming out called, his name is Demetrius Harmon, other known as Meech. I might be pronouncing that wrong, simply because I'm shit at pronouncing things, and in his video, it's just a trailer so far, but in his trailer, there's a point where he's basically saying, society tells you, or you have people who tell you that you can't be black and you can't be mentally ill, and this is something I have dealt with, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about my life and my mental illness and how it affects me differently because of my skin color. So, for you guys that don't know, I'm very open about it on my social media. I suffer from depression, anxiety, and I've had an eating disorder for, well, I've noticed that my eating disorder has started a lot in the last year and a half. I'm getting a lot better when it comes to it, and then I'm also being diagnosed with something else right now. I don't want to get into it until I actually get diagnosed with it, but if you guys can't tell, I'm very mentally ill, and this has affected me my whole life. Something we're taught by society is that black people are strong, and yes, that is very true, but it also kind of denies us the idea that we can be weak sometimes and that we can suffer. I've heard things such as, you're black, you're not supposed to be so sensitive, and it's like there's a chemical imbalance in my head. It's not something I can choose, nor any other black person can choose, or anyone else can choose. It's what we're born with, or something that we develop, and it's kind of the idea that makes us, the idea that we can't be weak, we can't show feelings, is what makes so many black people, this is not just my story, but other people that I know, that makes so many other black people afraid to get help. Because if you admit that you need help, that admits that you have a problem, and a problem shows weakness. And it's sad that society has taught us this, and it's kind of ingrained in us from when we're young. Like, no one has to outright say that like being depressed, being mentally ill is a bad thing, but it's something that you just know that no one wants to discuss. Something else I've noticed, especially when it comes to eating disorders, is that the image that we're shown are usually white girls. We see these stock images or these ads telling people, if you need help, call this number, and every single time you see a white person, and it kind of makes us feel like it's a white person's disease. I've heard that so many times, that depression, anxiety, any type of mental illness is a white person's disease, and it's not true. Depression affects everyone, whether you're white or black or of any ethnicity or any gender. It affects us differently, and so for a long time, every time I pictured someone being depressed or someone having an eating disorder, all I would see in my head was a white person, is a white girl, because that's all I knew. So it was kind of hard for me. It's hard for anyone, but it was especially hard for me to admit that I have a problem, because so many times people have said to me, Kiana, you act so white, Kiana, you're so white, and as I've heard it as a good thing, and I've heard it as an insult. And for me, when I hear that, I take it as I'm trying not to be my color, which is not true. So it just, when I hear that, when I realized I had an eating disorder, I had depression, and I had anxiety, it was like, oh, here I go again, here someone's gonna say I'm acting white, and it's like, I'm not acting white. If I could choose a life without depression and anxiety and my eating disorder, I would, but that's not how the cards are for me. That's not how they were dealt out. And it's just so sad that I know that there's so many other out there, so many other Black people out there who have depression, who have anxiety, who are mentally ill, and can't get the help that they need because they can't wrap their head around the idea that we can be mentally ill too, that this is not just for white people. This is something that affects us too. So the point of this video is not to put down white people. I'm not saying that there aren't white people. Obviously there are white people out there who have depression. And you getting treatment or mentally ill and white people being treated for mental illness should happen, but so should Black people. We need to speak out about our experience, how it's affected us differently culturally. I'm Jamaican, so maybe because I'm Jamaican, someone from Ghana, it's experienced it different from me. But there needs to be discussion. There needs to be an open discussion about how mental illness affects Black people differently. Okay guys, that's my video. Sorry it was a bit depressing. Maybe I shouldn't use that term, but sorry it was a bit of a downer. But that is Mental Health Mondays. We're gonna talk about things that, you know, society doesn't really want to talk about, or sometimes topics that are taboo. And I think it shouldn't stop. I think we should continue talking about these things that scare us to talk about. Ask questions, you know, because at the end of the day, we're not going to get the help if we don't put ourselves out there to get the help. But if you like this video and you want to see more of Mental Health Mondays or Sexuality Saturdays, sorry, fuck, I couldn't remember the name for a second, but subscribe to me. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching, and I love you all for doing it, and I'll see you guys Saturday.